Hello guys, welcome back once again to this new tarot reading. I'm going to continue with Stray Kids members individual readings. So this time I'm going to be doing Lino's tarot reading, personality and general. And I have a curiosity because it's like um I'm confused about his name. Actually, I don't know if it's because I have seen some people refer to him as Mino, but somehow I also read Lino. So I don't know. I know it's the same person, but I don't know which is like his main name. Like how do you how does the fandom call him? Lino or Mino? I don't know. I'm going to refer to him as Lino. So then you can be really helpful to me and help me like clarify this question that I have, because I don't know. I know it's his name. I know I'm not naming him wrong, but somehow I don't know. I'm confused. So maybe someone from the fandom that is kind enough to share info with me can help me. So I'm going to start with the archetype cards that came up for him. But actually, before starting, I want to also let you know that I have been seeing some aspects in his birth chart that actually I have seen some planets of his, because since there are a lot of sites that have like maybe the positions or the planets and the signs that are in the planets of their birth chart, but it's not an accurate birth chart that you can look at and see, for example, in a more complex way, that you can see, for example, aspects and houses and really interesting astrological things. So I'm just going to speak as a general. I'm going to take his sun and his moon. His sun is in Scorpio and his moon is in Sagittarius, which gives me this vibe of him that he must be really, because if you mix a Scorpio with a Sagittarius moon, he must be really funny, but somehow also really like I don't know, like to be too smart. I don't know how to say it, but it's a little bit like mischievous, a little bit like savage, maybe a bit of a savage, maybe a bit with some controversial uh, things, like for example when he speaks his mind, that he is really sharp, but at the same time he can be funny. So it's like this kind of weird jokes that he makes that are a little bit offensive, but it's like they end up being like this dark humor. He has dark humor. That's what I'm getting. And he must be really smart, because a moon in Sagittarius is smart. Men in moon in Sagittarius are really smart, and they are really inquisitive. They want to know about everything. They are really curious. They want to travel the world. They want to know about different things. They have the ability to store so much information in their mind, in their head, and also, but not just to save it like a moon in Gemini would, just to save data, save information. He's just is a moon in Sagittarius is the kind that they store information in order to give it like a purpose. They don't just save it so just to sound smart or to gain knowledge, just to say, oh, I know things. No, it's like to give also, to use them as inspiration, to put them into action somehow. For example, learning new abilities or learning new crafts, especially like they have the ability to learn foreign, I mean, a lot of languages. He has the ability to learn them, or maybe the ability to somehow understand other languages without not actually ever learned the language. It's like he's capable of understanding other people's culture, because his mind is really expansive. That's the influence of a moon in Sagittarius. But we will resume with that later. Let's start with the archetype cards he got. The archetype of God, Damsel, and Seeker. So the God archetype, I had talked a few about it, because it comes it in the last like 3 or 4 readings that I've done for idols. It had been like unusual, and I have shuffled really well. So I know that it's not that I didn't shuffle well, but somehow it wants to come out. To have the archetype of the God is actually to be really benevolent and to be really compassionate, in nature. But actually, to have the God archetype is when you feel like somehow you are really blessed, like you were born with a purpose, that you were born with a gift, that you were born. It's like you believe that there's like this inner force inside of you that was given to you somehow, so you can fulfill God's will, for example, or it's like you feel like you are on this earth to fulfill your destiny, and that somehow, since we all are children of God, that somehow we are protected and that we are blessed, and that no matter the obstacles that could come in our way, somehow we are going to be blessed enough to be able to overcome the obstacles. And this also talks about being like a really like optimistic and being really like a believer, like a true believer. I always say about this archetype that somehow they have so much confidence in themselves, or they believe so much in themselves, that sometimes they can be a little bit blinded, but that perception is like they feel like they are like bulletproof, like they are really blessed, like nothing wrong can happen. And somehow that's this God archetype, it's a bit it's like it's too like great maybe, or it's too like grandiose, that it's when you feel like everything will be okay, and somehow you become too blinded by that uh optimism, or excessive optimism, or obsessive trust. So a God archetype is really humble, but at the same time they can get really comfortable with feeling like they are lucky, and that somehow everything will work out for them. And actually this leads them to feel a little bit like too comfortable, like saying, oh yes, I know I'm going through a rough time, but somehow everything will work out tomorrow. So, and it's like this blind faith that they have, that somehow it's like they relax too much. It's like they rely too much on luck. And this also talks about being a moon in Sagittarius, because moon in Sagittarius tend to be like these great optimistic people. And somehow Jupiter, that is the planet of Sagittarius, gives them this kind of energy and belief that they are really lucky, because actually Jupiter is the planet of luck. the planet of good luck, so they somehow are a bit like lucky and fortunate. But when you are in the cat, in this cat archetype, you have to be able to remain humble and not to just uh, believe too much in your luck, or believe that somehow someone is going to save you from your problems, because somehow that's not how life works sometimes. And the next card is damsel. So this damsel, it means that he has like a very well developed feminine side of him, that he's really profound, and that he's really intuitive, and that he knows how to use his charms, especially because it's like he is really in tune with his feminine side. So it's like he's really charming, he knows, and he also has the the wisdom of a female energy, like to be feminine, for him to be a man and to be in touch with his feminine side is like a gift, because it gives him the audacity, and somehow um it makes him smart in a very psychic kind of way. It's like he knows people because he's very observant. And at the same time, it's like when you're in a damsel, it's like, and I think that this also has to do with the prior thing that I said, because it's like somehow if he is in trouble, he's like a strong believer that everything will work out eventually. So it's like he somehow expects someone else to save him, because a damsel is like this stereotype. When we used to say a damsel in distress, it's the same. It's like I believe I won't get into trouble, but in case I get into trouble, I expect you to be next to me so you can help me get out of this situation. So he can be like really tricky in that sense that he can use his charms to get away with things, or maybe to have others people's help or support to get him out of uncomfortable situations, or maybe situations in where he just wants to get away from some situation or problem. So he's like in this, oh please help me, and maybe he's like really charming and alluring, so you can, maybe he acts all cute, so it's like somehow your heart melts and somehow you want to be there for him and you want to help him. It's like he has this like kind of charming, that is like he is not going to directly ask you for help, but somehow he's going to be really charming and really convincing. So it's like somehow you're going to give in to him and help him, like help him with whatever he needs. It's like he uses this like kind of feminine traits to get what he wants, to get his way, which is really funny. I don't know why, but I find it so fun. I find it funny, actually. It makes me smile. I don't know why. But it's like I can almost see him like making like lovely gestures, or maybe doing some kind of I don't know if being cute, but it's like, I don't know, like winking or doing something really like cheesy, that somehow is like, it makes you weak inside. It's like you're like, okay, you can get away with anything because you are adorable, or because you are there's something about you that I just cannot say no to you. It's like he has this kind of irresistible touch, and he's a bit mischievous in that sense. He's a bit of a bad boy. Actually, this has a lot to do with his Scorpio, because he is a Scorpio sun. So it has to do with his manipulative ways of getting things. It's like he just gets people to forgive him for, maybe sometimes he can be a little bit like harsh with people, but somehow he does it in a way that it seems harmless, so people forget about it. It's like he's very lovable, but he can be a little bit like it's like he likes to push people's buttons. It's like he is like he likes to provoke people. So he's always testing you. If you're near him, he's probably going to be testing your patience to see how you will react, whether you will feel intimidated by him or not. And I believe that he also tests to how far he can go being charming, or how much he can get you to forgive him. It's like how much can he get away with. It's like this. He's really like playful in that way, but at the same time he's playful, but at the same time he's really deep. It's like a kind of dominance, because we always say that Scorpio energy is very dominant, is very possessive, and they have this way of getting under people's skin, especially men. And it's like, but he does it because he combines it really well with his moon in Sagittarius. So he almost does all these tricks with a smile on his face. So it's like he can make it seem like it's funny what he's doing actually, but maybe he's like cursing you, or maybe he's like, I don't know, saying something mean to you, and somehow he does it in a tone that may sound like a joke, but he's actually being mean. Or maybe he's like I don't know, there's something about the way he expresses himself. It's like he is he's telling you the truth, but at the same time he's like roasting you. He's like throwing you under the bus somehow, but he does it in a way that is really funny, and that somehow you cannot fight him, because it's like he's right. So it's like he knows people, he just knows people, and it's funny because he does it in a way that you cannot be mad at him, you cannot get mad at him for what he says. But he's really smart. He's a really smart person. He knows people. He's really observant. And the last archetype card is the Seeker card, and this talks, I believe, especially about his Moon in Sagittarius traits, because to be a seeker is to be thirsty for knowledge and to know the truth, to always being a seeker of the truth. And actually, the truth actually the truth actually is something that is very subjective. So it's like you cannot entirely own or know the truth. You can try to find the true meaning of things, but somehow it's like, since life is about movement, and life is about changes, and it's about being in constant transformation. It's like he's going to find himself going through a lot of times where he maybe, I don't know, can be interested in a subject, and then feeling the need to change it completely, and maybe dedicate himself to another totally opposite matter, or subject, or thing, or activity. Because it's like this seeker mode. Actually, this archetype, what gives him is this yes, this thirst for knowledge, this thirst to always being looking for something that can motivate him, and that also can inspire him to go deeper, and to learn new things, and not to get stuck. I don't think he is the kind of man the kind of person that you can like pin down, that you can like, oh, okay, you have to do this and you have to follow this routine. He's actually someone that needs a lot of movements, that needs a lot of innovation, and he needs a lot of novelty because he gets bored easily. So I don't know why with this archetype of the seeker I have the feeling that maybe idol life is not actually his. It's like he is a good entertainer and he enjoys being part of the group. I believe it is his life purpose, and he really like loves being an idol and loves being an entertainer and an artist. But somehow there's also a part of him that is not entirely satisfied. So I see him like maybe going to university, or like focusing on studying different like higher studies or something like that, and actually, I don't know, getting a degree of like a really like interesting or complex subject or career, because he's really smart. He's really smart. And actually, right now, he's like in this phase that maybe he's not really in touch, or he at least he doesn't have the time to dedicate himself to full like going to school or studying, but somehow he's going to maybe after he retires, he I believe he will start studying a career that is completely opposite to being an entertainer, because I have the feeling that he's really smart, and that he needs to put that this thirst for knowledge that he has, and he needs to like to keep himself motivated in this sense. I don't think he will find satisfaction only being an idol or only being a celebrity. I believe he will find his life purpose, or he will find the true meaning of his life through the process of learning new things and also studying different cultures, maybe traveling a lot, like getting to know different people. His mind is really expansive. His way of thinking things is really interesting. It's also really profound. So I see him getting really deeply involved in learning new things. I don't see him just being an idol and that's it. I feel like there's a lot of that he wants to do, and that he will be this kind of person that he will wake up one day and he will be like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to dedicate myself to other things. So he has this ability, and also because Scorpio energy is all about transformation. So it's like maybe the man that you see today is not going to be the same that you see from now to 5 years from now. So he's going to change a lot. So let's go with the cards that came out for him. Actually, the tarot cards that came out for him, it's the Knight of Cups, the Nine of Swords, the Chariot, the King of Swords, the Five of Cups, the Page of Cups, the Emperor, the Ace of Swords, the High Priestess, and the Eight of Cups. So what caught my attention actually is that I was really willing to talk like about, I don't know, like something maybe professional, but what I got from him is actually something totally different. I'm getting something about his emotional life, like his romantic life. that I'm not saying he's in a relationship, but I'm saying that he was considering like offering his heart or his love to someone, and that somehow that connection is like stuck, and he just doesn't seem to know what to do with the feelings that he has for this person. So it's like he wants to move forward to this person, but somehow this person like cut him off, or like just doesn't talk to him or doesn't want to communicate. Because actually what happened, I have the feeling, is that somehow he's really awkward when it comes to expressing his emotions. It's like he feels a lot. Actually, he's a romantic at heart, but somehow he just cannot find the right words to say. And I mean, when it comes to feelings, there isn't like a script or something like you have to follow to be like, oh yes, I said the right romantic things. Actually, it doesn't work that way. But there's something about him that he sometimes is maybe too like sarcastic, or maybe with this dark humor that I was talking about earlier. Is that somehow this person doesn't take him seriously, because he it's like as if this person friend zone him kind of, because it's like he's always like being like saying things with a double meaning. So it's like you never know if he's being serious or if he's joking. And he also has like this tendency to sometimes being a little bit harsh when he says things. It's like he wants to be funny, but he somehow end up being like a bit offensive. It's like, because I can see his words being like, like these sorts that go straight to you. Like he's really like sometimes he cannot hold himself, and this is very Moon in Sagittarius. Actually, sometimes they are too blunt. Their bluntness is really like, it hurts people's feelings sometimes, because for them actually they don't mean to be mean, they don't mean to be cruel, but somehow their jokes get misunderstood all the time. So I have the feeling that he somehow wanted to deliver a message to this person, and this person like misinterpreted what he wanted to say actually, and got offended. So it's like this person friend zoned him, and he's like really upset about it, because it's like he cannot believe it. He cannot believe it. He thought he was really like getting to a good place with this person, but somehow he said he said a few things that just ruined the moment. and and now he's thinking, now he's upset at this person, and he's also upset at himself. He's like, oh, I'm so unlucky in love, like no one gets me, no one understands me. He's like this, in this damsel mode, he's like, oh my god, I need help, I need someone to coach me in my relationships because I suck at this. um and I understand his frustration, because it's like he doesn't give up easily. Actually, he has a strong will, but somehow it's like, oh, I open myself up, and I try to make this person smile, and somehow I said something that came out the wrong way, or maybe didn't sound the way I meant it. So he's really he's really beating himself up a lot for that. And then he is going to play this attitude of like, oh, I'm over it. Like, because also he has this with the emperor there. He's like, it's like somehow when he realizes that he's so clumsy when it comes to communication, he gets really upset at himself, and somehow he gets in this kind of prideful mode that somehow he's like, in order to not get rejected, it's like he rejects you first. So it's like he puts himself in this like, oh, this superior kind of vibe, you know, when he acts like he's not interested, actually, that he doesn't care, that he's too good, he's too good for that person. If that person doesn't get him, he's too good. So he positions himself in this place of like, oh, I'm over it, actually I don't like you this much, or actually I don't think I like you. um he gets into this mode of being really pet, petty, to be really like, just because he doesn't know how to be more gentle, he just cannot find the right words to maybe sound a little bit more romantic. It's like sometimes he's too straightforward to things that sometimes the words come out in the wrong way. So then he's like, he puts himself in this place of, oh, I didn't mean it, actually, like I don't need you, like I don't like you that much, actually I hate you, or something like this, because he gets offended because it's like his advances and his propositions, like somehow wasn't accepted. So he gets really, he just hates rejection, he feels rejected. So that's why he puts himself in this attitude of like, oh yes, I don't like you, actually. um but inside he's feeling really broken inside, poor guy. I'm just feeling so, I'm laughing because he's hilarious. I mean, it makes me smile because I can feel his, like his inner speech, like his, the way he's convincing himself, like, oh, I don't care, it doesn't matter, if this person didn't get my message, it doesn't matter, I'm going to find someone that is going to understand me, or something like that. But he's actually softy, he's really softy, I believe he wants to, he's very romantic, but somehow it's like he just doesn't have the skills, you know. He just needs to learn to be a little bit more gentle, to be a little bit like more diplomatic, and maybe he needs like, I don't know, like, I don't know, some Libra, some Libra sun, some Libra people, some Libra men that can give him advice about how to be, how to talk to women, because like somehow he's not doing his best in this sense. So that's the next card. It's the Ace of Swords and the High Priestess. That this is also, this is, since he is going to go into this, oh, I'm over it mode, he's going to stop communication with that person. Actually, he's going to go into this like, ice king, like contact zero. He's going to be silent, and he's going to disappear from this person's life. Somehow he's going to ghost this person because he's really offended. Actually, he's like, actually he's mad at himself. He's not offended at the person because he really likes this person, but he's really angry. He's like frustrated. Actually, he's frustrated because he's like, he he just feels like he ruins everything. It's just like he cannot believe he ruined his chance. So he will make the decision in the next few months to cut all kinds of connection with this person. So he's going to go MIA from this person because he's a little bit embarrassed, and at the same time he's a little bit offended. So I have the feeling that he is a bit also of a drama queen, in a sense that it's like it's like he does these kinds of reactions, or he has these kinds of, like, for example, he like ghosts you, so you pay attention to him. It's like he has this kind of, or he doesn't talk to you, or he turns his back on you, so you can really know that there, so you can sense that there's something wrong, and that somehow you can go to him and ask him if he's okay or if he's offended, because somehow he's not able to maybe deal with rejection. So he's like he's not he's not capable of saying, yes, I think I mess up, or I think I delivered the message that I wanted in the wrong way, so maybe, I don't know, apologize or start over. It's like he doesn't believe in second chances. It's like if you miss the first opportunity with him, it's like you are gone, like you are no one to him. He just will cut you out of his life. Because that's what I can see with the Ace of Swords, that he's really determined in the sense. It's like when there's something, when he feels misunderstood somehow, which I believe that happens really often. It's like he shuts himself. It's like he just goes back to his little shell, he protects himself a lot, especially because he doesn't want to get hurt. He doesn't like to be vulnerable to people that he somehow feels um, like they don't deserve his attention, because he somehow, actually, what he wants and what he appreciates is for to have like some kind of special connection with people. So it's like he somehow expects you to some kind to be like intuitive, or to be able to guess or perceive what he wants or what he needs. So he will probably be really be a great match with someone that is really intuitive, maybe someone that is psychic, maybe someone also a tarot reader or something like that, like me, because it's like he has this perception that if you are interested in someone, it's like if you're interested in him, that you somehow have to be able to know him. Like you have to know what's up with him. And if you don't understand what bothers him, or actually what he wants to say to you, or why he does the things he does, it's because you're not paying attention to him. And he somehow shuts down. It's like, okay, you're not worth my time, because you don't care about me. Something like that. He's really intense. He's really like a bit dramatic, actually, but that's how he feels. Probably he is a bit immature in that sense. He still needs a lot of growing to do, but that's how he reacts, actually. I believe that eventually, as time passes and as he gains more experience in life and relationships, he will learn to maybe be a little bit more flexible with people he care about, or actually with loved ones, and not just walk away from people just because he doesn't like what they say or don't do, because sometimes it's like he takes things too seriously, and sometimes he's like he has this mentality of being like black or white, he's like yes or no. So he's not really good at giving second chances, so he needs to work in that. He needs to work in his flexibility, especially because it's like he spoils a lot of relationships and interactions because of that attitude. It's like he has this attitude that this is also very more in Sagittarius, that is that if he doesn't like something, and he just walks away, he just leaves you there, and he just goes away. He just doesn't, and he goes away, he doesn't look back. I mean, once he said we are done, we're over, I'm done with you, he's definitely done with you. You are not going to see him again. So he has to work, because I believe that this but he does it in a place of hurt, and actually of having low self-esteem, because it's like he's afraid of getting hurt. So instead of exposing himself, he rather run away, or maybe evade the situation so he doesn't get hurt, because he's really afraid of showing his vulnerable side. I believe that we all are like that in some sense, but for him it's really um it's very noticeable. It's like for him it's almost like it's his thing. It's like that's what he does. It's something he does. It's like a trademark of him to be this this like strict, almost, like this determined to be like, oh yes, if you don't put the effort with me, or if you said something that I didn't like, I'm going to cut you out of my life, and I'm going to like I'm going to leave, and you're not going to hear from me again, something like that. So he needs to work in his flexibility, because he could potentially lose a lot of values relationships because of this, because he doesn't know how to give second chances. So it's like and besides, because also like in the other people's perception, is this perception of like, okay, I wanted to make things up with you, but somehow you didn't give me the choice, you didn't give me a chance, because you just ghosted me, or you just disappear. So you didn't even gave me the chance to clear things, like. So but it's part of his personality, and I believe he will change eventually about that. So that's all I have to say for now, for Lino. um um I'm sorry that I didn't cover anything professionally, but this this thing that I got today is what really was like all over the spread. So I had to deliver this interpretation. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video.